Vogel. He's speaking with Mike and the media.
Frank, what stood out most to you in that first half when Milwaukee was able to build the lead quickly?
Played terrible defensive half.
What specifically about the defense didn't you like, Frank?
Disposition, competition, the level of competitive spirit we showed for a big game was very disappointing. Containment, blow-bys, broken coverages, not getting back on defense, not hitting people on the glass well enough, not being physical enough overall. 2 straight games we start with a terrible defensive half. We got to get that right.
Frank, you said before the game you want to measure yourself against the best, and you have a game where you're down 30 and essentially blown out of your own building. What's that measurement look like, and how do you?
Well, it wasn't good.
Being able to be among the best still this year.
It wasn't good, but I also said before the game that you can't measure too much with one regular season game, but our energy as a group isn't good right now, we fought and tried to get back in the game like we did against New York. Okay, to our guys' credit, we didn't give up on either game. We came back and won last game, came back and made it a game this game, but we got to push through whatever is we're in right now, and we just got to get to better starts. Okay, you get off to a better start, okay, and then the energy of the group comes along.
Frank, during the long road trip, Russell's game seemed to be up on the uptick since you guys got back to Los Angeles. Particularly offensively, the numbers show easier for us to read than the defensive numbers, I guess. What do you think's been going on with him since you got back to LA?
Yeah, it's tough to say. He wasn't that bad. The group that was making a run, we just left them in there in the fourth. Aside from bringing Braun back, had a tough night the other night. Had a tough night shooting the ball tonight, but I thought he was competing, and the lineups have changed. He's playing, without AD one time on the road, without AD and Braun, okay, and then without Braun, he's got the ball a lot more. It's easier to get a rhythm, and that's typically how he's played. But when all those 3 guys are out there at the same time, it's different. There's less touches and everybody's sharing it, so maybe tougher to get into a rhythm. But that's one of the things we're working through.
Frank, a lot of these defensive questions and issues that we've asked you have been kind of questions and issues since really early in the season. How frustrating is that for you personally, trying to hammer these same points, and how frustrating do you think it is for this group that the same hurdles are in front of them and they can't clear them?
Well, it's frustrating losing big like we did tonight in a big game. That's frustrating. Obviously I'll take a great deal of pride in getting our guys to defend at a high level, and I'm disappointed with where we're at, but we're going to keep working. We'll watch the tape. We'll look at it tomorrow, see ways we can get better, and try to beat Portland.
Frank, last game you said you tweaked the starting lineup for a matchup-based thing. Was that the same thing tonight with going with Trevor instead of Stanley? And then are you, I guess, moving forward going to continue to go matchup by matchup for games, or do you want to try to find a starting group that you stick with?
Well, I'd like to find a starting group that we could stick with, but we haven't won enough to do that. So, I think tonight was more about who are we going to put on Giannis in the second group, and not ask Braun to carry that whole load, So we wanted Stanley available for that, and use Trevor's length on Middleton, so it was matchup based. For right now we'll look at that, but we've had 2 terrible defensive first halves consecutively, so we're looking at everything right now.
Frank, I think you and some of his teammates have implied that Russ is kind of going through a funk and maybe has some confidence things going on, but to be the best version of this team, do you consider that at some point Russ is going to have to be a trusted member of the closing lineup? Yeah, for sure, and he is. That's always the plan, and the game can tell you otherwise. If other guys are going to be in there, the game tells you that.
Frank, in your conversations with Rob, kind of heading into the trade deadline this week, what's on the table for this group?
I keep those conversations private. If there's ways that we can improve our team, we're going to do it. It's that simple.